Thank you, everybody, for joining us for our 34th Academic Training Partners. So today we have Jaganathan, Clinical Lead Wheelchair Services at North Wales Postural and Mobility Services from Wales, UK, joining us. So floor is yours, Jay.
Hi. Thanks, Kritika. Thanks for inviting me to present about our service delivery today. So it'll be a good opportunity for me to liaise with other members, other experts, in this forum. And thanks for your time. Great. Okay. My name is Jaganathan. I'm a clinical lead. Obviously, so we are delivering service to North Wales. So got all Wales. And we deliver service to North Wales, which is part of our Betsy Cadwallader University Health Board. So that's us. So what I'm planning to cover in this session today is just to give you all an overview of wheelchair service in North Wales service, and also about our All Wales wheelchair specification, because we are governed by All Wales, so wheelchair specification, and also briefly touch on the various pathways and process that we have within our service, and discuss, if possible, joint working that we do with other referral partners, and how do we focus on 24-hour Postural program by liaising with our physios and occupational therapists, and also the various training program that we deliver, and also what we receive from our contract companies and other resources, and wheelchair sports, and the partnership working with Disability Wales Sports and things like that. So that's the plan for today. Great. Okay. So Wales, you all know, we're part of UK. So we do have North Wales service and South Wales service. So that's Wales. And North Wales, we cover various counties, and there are 3 health boards, that we liaise with to deliver wheelchair service. So we obviously cover a big geographical patch, the whole North Wales. So wheelchair service in Wales, if you want to Google search and access our website, so that's our website. So if you click artificial limb and appliance service, so you should be able to access all our resources and information. So the wheelchair services in Wales, we do have 3 centres. So one in Cardiff, which is south, and Swansea, and North Wales, we are based at Wrexham. So those are the 3 main centres, wheelchair service. Great. Okay. So PAMS, which is Posture and Mobility Service. So that's us. And within Posture and Mobility Service, we do have various other professionals who support the Posture and Mobility Service, and this is commissioned via the Welsh Health Specialist Service Committee, which is briefly what's called as WISC, and approximately so we do have 13,000 service users across our geographical region, which is North Wales. And among those 13,000 service users, 25% service users are the needs are met with standard equipment, and 75% need further clinical assessment and prescription. Yeah, and on an average, we have 340 new referrals every month, and 750 active clients on our list, and we keep insisting on this. So I was just speaking to Kritika as well. The referral information is crucial to the success of equipment provision. As I mentioned, 25% of service users' needs are met with standard equipment. So we rely on our referral partners and the information and the quality of information that goes within the referral form. So if you have enough information and if it's quite straightforward, we should be able to issue them with the standard equipment based on the measurements and information. Now that's in the referral form. So yeah, so referral information is crucial to the success of our equipment provision. Great. Okay, so what we do in wheelchair service, so obviously, we do various types of clinical assessment, including environmental assessment, and that factors in the biopsychosocial element. And we do deliver equipment and do repairs and adjustments, and also disposable of equipment. So we cover like quite a wide area. And Our team includes clinical engineers, rehab engineers, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, clinical scientists, clinical psychologists, medical staff, administrators, field service team, medical technical officers, and technicians. So yeah, so it's a big team. And so we do have wheelchair therapists, including both pediatric and adult team. And we have our rehab engineering team, which is a technical team, so who covers the custom mold, bespoke, and modifications. So the key objectives of our service is to work in partnership with clients and the representatives to assess the posture and mobility needs of people of all ages. So basically, we cover pediatric and adult and all ages and various disease-specific groups. And also to prescribe and provide wheeled mobility and postural support solutions to meet essential needs, and to promote function, comfort, and independence while minimizing the risk of complications and incorporating the social model of disability. So that's key.
Hi,
so we don't.
Hi, Helen. It's Chris. We're over at the wheelchair service.
Hello.
Yeah, there was the admin girls in the office. They were a little bit busy this morning. It's all been a bit crazy here. Because obviously with the bank holiday, everyone's now panicking, wanting to get everything done before the bank holiday, and so.
Hi, Chris.
So it was very weird. So I think there's been some complete crosswire.
Sorry about that. Just muted Chris.
Okay, that's okay. Great. Moving on. The clinical objectives of our service is the philosophy. Obviously, we stick to the ICF biopsychosocial model, as I've been mentioning it quite a few times, as to maximize ability and minimize the disability. Eligibility, we are governed by our all wheels wheelchair and our service specification, and we assess the clinical and lifestyle needs of people of all ages and provide equipment to meet those essential needs. So currently the team is split into pediatric, which is up to 19 years of old, and adult clients. As I also mentioned, we do have the rehab engineers team as well to support us. So the referral process, so when it comes to our service, it's divided into two groups, standard and non-standard. The standard are basically for client or service users where there are no specific postural, clinical, or technical needs. And when the measurements are provided, so it's quite straightforward. Then, as I said, based on the quality of information on the referral form, so we would go and issue the standard wheelchair. So that's quicker, and also there's no delay in the equipment provision. But if the client has got complex postural issues, and if they need more technical needs, and if they need more modifications to accommodate the deformities, then yes, so we would have to put them on their respective waiting list, assess them, do a comprehensive assessment, and then take it from there and see what the needs are. So we split the referral into standard and non-standard. So that's a referral process. I'm not going to go in detail. So obviously, the duty therapist will be able to screen them, triage them, and then try and allocate if it's standard or complex, and also place them on the respective waiting list. It could be for rehab engineering team, it could be for powered wheelchair provision, or it could be the complex postural needs, and also it depends whether they are pediatric or adults. So the lot of process goes within screening and allocation. So that's our process. The all wheels wheelchair specification. So you could Google, and it's available, online. So WISC, which is Welsh Health Specialized Service Committee. So we are governed by WISC, and the wheelchair specification gives us a bit more clarity on the criteria for provision. That includes a buggy, manual wheelchair, power provision, and the exclusions to consider and the exceptions that we could make. So all these are covered within our all wheels wheelchair specification, and we stick to that. And also there are some KPIs, which is key performance indicators, which helps us to manage our performance, and also stick to our RTT, which is referral to treatment process, because we do have the referral to treatment pathways. So we'll have to try and keep up the quality and stick to our KPIs. Great. So we do have a standard referral form. I'm not going to go through in the referral form, but these referral forms are available both in electronic version and paper versions. We do share and train our referral partners regularly. As I mentioned previously, the quality of information on the referral form is key. So we do have level 1 training to our referral partners. So we try and cover the whole areas. So we do at least 6 level 1 training in a year to cover our geographical patch. And that seems to be really useful both to the referral partners and to our service, because the quality of information that comes in is very good. So we should be able to screen and triage and issue the equipment as soon as possible. So we do have the electronic version of referral form, and some services have tried to integrate within their patient database on the electronic systems, which pre-populate some of the information. So yes, so we liaise and work closely with our referral partners to see how we could facilitate that. Great. Okay, service pathways and process. So this is where I wanted to try and discuss some of the pathways and process that we do follow in our service, within our service, and also try and get a bit more input from you guys, but because I know we share similar interests, so I'm sure maybe not as part of this session, maybe after the session, if anyone interested in any specific pathways or process, I'll be happy to share. And likewise, if you have any process and pathways, yes, please do share with us, and we should be able to try and review our pathways and process. Okay, great. So we have the pathway for complex and non-complex. The powered chair process, again, so we have a specific powered chair process for pediatric and adult team, because that's something which is key. And when it comes to powered wheelchair, we want to make sure that they are medically fit. So we do contact their GP consultants for the medical fitness, and we also do a detailed environmental assessment, and followed by the clinical assessment of the posture and so on. So we do have a very structured process in place, but that's something which we are planning to review and benchmark with other services. So if you have any information, or if you would like to get in touch with me regarding powered chair process, I'll be happy to share the information. Likewise, we do have our own pressure care pathway. So we liaise with our tissue viability team and the community nursing team, because that's key, and to deliver the service in time. With regards to pressure care pathway, we also consider having emergency cushion stocks for those patients who are at high risk and vulnerable. We wanted to try and prioritize them as soon as possible and issue pressure care, on pressure cushion, as soon as possible from our emergency cushion stock. So we do have a pathway and a defined role, to play within the pressure care pathway. Great. So we also liaise with various disease-specific groups, like, for example, motor neuron disorders, stroke, vascular team, spinal cord injury team, because the need for these client groups are different. So we'll have to try and understand and cater to the needs. So we have seen very good result associating with those disease-specific group pathways and training them. Also in terms of like a gatekeeper, so they were able to initially trial and some of the wheelchairs. So we do provide them with some assessment stock for them to trial or during their stay within their service. It could be like spinal cord injury before discharge, so they get a chance to trial various wheelchairs. So based on that information, we should be able to assess them and provide them the right equipment in need. So yeah, so we do have disease-specific pathways for various disease-specific groups. Special control pathway. So we have this pathway. It's more recent. So that's because you all know, the special controls. There's so much to consider in terms of special control, in terms of switches, various controls, mounting positions, assessing their needs, and also programming, to the needs. So that's developing into like a specialized area. So we wanted to train and have our own champions who can then support the clinicians. So if it's more complex. So we have come up with our own special control pathway. So where we do have champions that includes technicians, therapists, rehab engineers, where they should be able to assist our therapists or clinicians to identify the right special control and programming and liaise with the respective companies as well. That seems to be really working well. And also in terms of early intervention, particularly when it comes to powered, so under 5. So yes, we have a pathway and a process. So we do have VisiBug trial process and assessment and a procedure that we stick to in terms of early intervention. And also, so we have assessment platform like Smart Drive Deck, which I will share with you later. Great. So these are some of the pathways and process I haven't covered more, but we do have other process and pathways. But I don't want to bore you with the details. But if you are interested, yes, please get in touch with me. I'll be happy to share the process and pathways with you guys. Okay, so these are examples of some of the range of postural seating that we do. So obviously, various range of modular seating system and RIA for adult and various types of self-propelled and attendant-propelled, attendant wheelchairs with various types of backrest and accessories. So postural chairs, so we obviously we need to consider other accessories. We have various range of third-party, backrest and cushions. Yeah, so we do have consignment stock to fasten the process. We do have emergency stock of cushions for disease-specific groups like MND or patients with pressure sore grades 2 and above. So yes, so we do have a stock. So these are some of the things which helps to fasten the process and deliver the service for those in need and in time. So we are trying our best to review our process, but these are some of the accessories, and we hold a free stock of these postural chairs and accessories. Some of the range of choice to consider for adult. So we do, because it's an NHS service, so we do have a NHS contract of products of various ranges, like for manual wheelchairs, active user wheelchair, or high performance wheelchairs, postural wheelchairs. So we do have our own go-to products, and we got to try our best to stick to those go-to products. But if there is a need, so we do have something called out of range process, where there is clinical justification. We should be able to go out of range of NHS products. That comes up when we do a lot of joint working with our community, physios and OTs, where they do have static seating, like for example, pediatrics. If they have a static classroom seating, which seems to work and meet their needs, so we try our best to duplicate that on a wheelchair base. So likewise, so if it works on a wheelchair base, the social service should be able to duplicate that for home seating and that kind of stuff. So yeah, so if there is a need, so we do consider out of range process and joint funding process. But these are some of the ranges that we consider. Action range from Invacare, and also we do have various types of wheelchairs from Sunrise. These are the major companies that we have on our contract. But as I said, it depends on the clinical need, and when there is justification, we can go out of range products. And some of the pediatric manual wheelchairs, buggies, we do have a range of products, like starting from the basic buggies to intermediate postural buggies to advanced postural needs, and also the modular seating system, active user wheelchairs, self-propelled and attendant-propelled wheelchairs. Again, as I mentioned previously, so we will try our best to stick to our range of NHS products, but when we know when there is a need, yes, so we will be able to prescribe other chairs out of reach. Some of the powered wheelchairs in our options, ranging from recline or just drive only wheelchairs, or tilting options with elevated leg rest, or with risers. Again, as I mentioned, so we stick to our all wheels wheelchair specification. There are some exclusions, within our specifications. So it is, but again, there should be a strong clinical justification for us to justify if they are on exclusion. But if there is a patient need, there is a process to follow. But yes, we do provide joint funding to, for example, if they need a riser, we liaise with the social service team on charity or with the patient, and try and facilitate, and to try and provide them with the seat raiser on an electric powered wheelchair. So again, there is a process that we follow in terms of joint funding. It seems to benefit most of our patients. Great. So we do consider the right drive wheels, including front wheel drive, rear wheel drive, and mid wheel drive. Again, it all depends on their environment and their needs, the turning cycle. So we go through a detailed assessment. Even before the clinical assessment starts, we do environmental assessments to begin with, just to double check and liaise with the social service to make sure that they have the necessary adaptations and access in place, and also get the medical fitness from their consultants and GP. But based on the needs, based on their environment, yes, so we will consider the right drive wheelchairs for the clinic purpose. So we have the under 5 project. So we have piloted that project, and it was very successful. And for those children where there is potential for them to move from manual wheelchair to a powered wheelchair, so we have VisiBug, which I'm sure most of you guys are aware. But for those who don't know VisiBug, Obviously, VisiBug comes with various features like tilt and recline facilities. You should be able to try and achieve a lot of corrections within the seating system by using various accessories like chest harness and pelvic belt. And you should be able to provide and trial with various types of joystick switches and other controls as well. So anyone above 14 months with adult supervision. So we do consider the early independent mobility. So we do a comprehensive assessment, and it's not quite straightforward. So we have like a loan process where they can trial for a period of time, and we should be able to provide them with the training and monitor their progress. And we have our own checklist and with the powered wheelchair, and we have come up with our own games to facilitate and motivate their skills. So we have a comprehensive assessment and a trial process to facilitate the early mobility. It seems to really benefit, and once we know, yes, that's the right chair and the child has got potential, we'll be able to prescribe them with the powered wheelchair as soon as possible. So we are considering VisiBug. And also the assessment platform. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the Drive Deck, the smart platform. So I know it's widely advertised as a very good motivational tool, but we try and use more often to as an assessment tool, just to identify for those clients who we think will benefit from the powered wheelchair. So it's a very good tool as an assessment platform. So if you're not sure whether the powered wheelchair is the right provision for this particular client, the Drive Deck is quite handy. And as you all know, it's regardless of what has their existing seating provision or the current wheelchair is, we should be able to trial them and assess them using this Drive Deck in their current provision. So that way, it's a useful tool for us to identify whether the user is going to benefit from a powered and wheelchair provision or not. And obviously, the Drive Deck does have a lot of features, which is including motion control, and also the line center, following also they do have anti-collision sensors, speed control. There's so much you can do using the Drive Deck. So sometimes, yes, initially as an assessment tool, but if you wanted to use that tool to train them, so they gain confidence. So yes, so we can use the Drive Deck and as the training tool as well. So we use this more often when there is that doubt. We don't know whether this particular client is going to benefit from powered provision. It comes in hand as an assessment tool. So it seems to be quite beneficial, to be honest. Okay, custom seating, our rehab engineering technical team partners. So we work closely, with our clinical scientists and rehab engineers, and we do consider various types of custom seating. Obviously, one of the options are molded a seat insert, which is more commonly used. So we do initial assessment, obviously take the mold, mid-fit, and just to check if everything is okay, if it needs tweaking, and then the final fit, which includes upholstery team completing the covers and all that stuff. So yes, we do consider mold seat insert as one option. And then we also, so that's some example of a child receiving molded seat before and after. So you could see the postural correction quite complex. We had to accommodate, the deformities, spinal curvature, pelvic obliquity, and limb length discrepancy. So seems to be very useful tool. And because these children tend to spend more time in the wheelchair, it's very important, that we consider, accommodating, the deformities, so they are comfortable, within the seating system, and tolerate, the seating for longer duration. So that's, after. We also consider, the custom form carve seating for those client group who need greater comfort because it's lower density, and also who need improved pressure management. So for those clients, we do consider, the custom form carve seating. And there are other custom seating options as well, like the matrix molded seating system. And obviously for those client group of pediatric more often, where you expect them to grow, outgrow, or changes, and when in the posture. So when you expect, the changes, within the posture more often, then matrix, mold, the custom, sitting, is a good option. So we have considered, when we anticipate, that, the changes are going to be more frequent or more often, then we do consider the matrix custom seating options as well. Great. As I mentioned before, we have our own champions with the special control. So we do have various stock of controls and switches, and our champions will be able to do a very detailed assessment trial with various switches and controls. So we do have a team, champions, as a group, to assess and trial the various switch access. So that includes switches, various types of switches, and various types of head ray, including, you could see the PS4 type of remote control for those children, like for example Duchenne muscular dystrophy, where they tend to be more familiar with the PS4, and they do demonstrate good control. So we have used them to control the wheelchair as well. So obviously chin control, sit and puff, and then various types of controls. So we do hold a demo stock, so to trial the various types and see what is the right control for this particular client. And in terms of programming, again, that's something which our champions are trained, and if they need a bit more information, they do liaise with their respective company representatives, and they try and program the wheelchairs as well. Okay, in terms of pressure cup, that's huge, and as I mentioned before, we do work closely with our tissue viability team and community nurse team, and they hold their own stock for the community pressure care service, but we have our own stock and we have a pathway. That's when it comes to wheelchair seating cushions. So we make sure that we have enough range of products in terms of measurements, and for those client groups who are at high risk. So we have a pressure care pathway, but this is something which is more recent. So we have a publication so on All Wales Tissue Viability Nurse Forum. So there is this best practice guidelines published on seating and pressure ulcers. I have provided you the link, so if you wanted more information, it's a booklet which discusses in detail about the various pressure cushion assessment and all the stuff related to pressure ulcer. Okay, moving forward. Okay. Seat cushions, as I said, so we do hold NHS contract. So we have 20, so you could see on this first column, so we have 20 lots 12 lots of seating cushions. Each lot we do have minimum three different types of products, and these lots are based on the type of material, and again the risk, and in terms of postural need, and in terms of ability to customize these cushions. So we have 12 lots of cushions, and that's our go-to product when it comes to cushion, and anything more, or if we think okay that our lots doesn't meet the needs, so we can go out of range from these 12 lots, but obviously there needs to be a strong justification, and we do discuss within our NBT team meetings as well. So yes, we do hold 12 lots of various types of. Okay, so training. So we do provide various in-service training to our referral partners. So we provide level 1 training, as I mentioned before. So we depend on the quality of information that comes in the referral form. So we train our referral partners. That's level 1 training. Level 3 training is to our staff members who joins our service. So obviously they need to meet certain competencies. So we have the various level of competencies to stick to. So we do provide an advanced training and induction program to the new starters. So that's level 3 training, which includes postural training. It includes introducing them to the various types of manual wheelchair, powered wheelchair, active user wheelchair, clinical reasoning skills, and assessment based on biopsychosocial model. So we including pressure care, various types of cushion, things to consider, backrest and all this stuff. So the level 3 training is more advanced training that we provide to our staff members. There is a level 2, but at the moment, so we are not doing the level 2 training. Level 2 training is something we are planning to focus with the disease-specific group professionals, like I mentioned earlier, MND group, stroke group, vascular team. So we have started liaising with those groups. So we do have a process, but the level 2 is something which we would like to focus and train the therapists who are within those disease-specific group. So when they are trialing various types of wheelchairs, when they are within the service, they should be able to trial various cushions and wheelchair. And then when they refer to us, it should be basically they can work as a gatekeeper, to fasten the process. So that's something which we are planning to reinstate at some point, but at the moment capacity, and we are reviewing the training modules as well. So we are grateful to ISW. So we are looking at their training materials as well, but that's something which I would like to liaise in future, and then see how we could actually benefit from their training modules as well. So we do deliver training to the OT and physio students within our local university. So obviously, so we haven't got any specific training for wheelchair therapists. So we try and deliver training at year 1, year 2, year 3. So specific to, so we have learning objectives specific to year 1, year 2, year 3. So there is some carryover. So these students are introduced to wheelchair, the principles of seating, posture, and pressure care, and all stuff from year 1. And year 2, we try and discuss in detail about the various types of wheelchairs. And in year 3, we do the level 1 training, so they get the accreditation. So when they come out ready to refer, so they know what to expect from us, and what we are expecting from them. So that's the plan at the moment. That seems to work. So we do deliver a lot of training to our referral partners. that's something which we would like to look into and liaise with ISW. Great. Manual wheelchair skills training. So obviously you are all familiar with this. For children and active users, so we do consider the manual wheelchair skills training, make sure both the static stability and dynamic stability is good, and how we could progress based on their individual needs. So we liaise with the individual client and the carers and the professionals. So that's again, so we are having a refresher training on wheelchair skills training in November. So that's something which we are considering, and we wanted to try and develop the wheelchair skills training group for pediatric. So that's something which is which we wanted to deliver to pediatric groups. So we are liaising with our partners. But yes, so if you have any more information on the wheelchair skills training, I would like to liaise with you and see how we could facilitate this to our pediatric groups as well. And as I mentioned before, so we work in partnership with the Disability Sports Wales. There are various sports that they could access. So we as a wheelchair therapist, not just stop with our provision. So we do have an active discussion with our clients and have a referral process and signpost them to the area specific Disability Sports Wales team, and identify what is the right sports for them, and obviously that team also comes to our service sites, and they try and have that active discussion with the client groups. It's really useful, and again, if you search online Disability Sports Wales, so you should be able to see the various options that's available in North Wales. So yeah, so we are working very closely with the Disability Sports Wales. Great, and we have come to the end of our session. So thank you for listening, and any questions, I'll be happy to.
Thank you so much, Jay. That was very informative. And these are all great services that you're doing. So thank you so much for sharing what you do. I just wanted to open up the floor for any questions from the team. Does anybody have any questions for Jay? Please feel free to unmute and speak up.
No.
It's a quiet group because it's almost Friday. We're all just listening in.
No worries. So obviously they do have a presentation and they do have a link, so they can contact me. I could see a few names there. So is it something I can liaise with them, like Kritika, out of this session, if I need a bit more information? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Great. Thank you.
So see no questions, but thanks so much for the presentation, Jay. It was great presentation. Some comments in the chat.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good. So thank you everybody for taking the time, and a very special thanks to Jay for this great presentation. We will be sure to share the recording in our YouTube channel, and also be sure to share the presentation with everybody, and Jay's contact information if you would like to connect further. So any other final comments or thoughts from you, Jay, before we close out?
No, as I said, Kritika, so with regards to training, that's something which I will liaise with you.
Yeah,
so,
sure. Yeah, we'll touch base separately on that for sure.
Yeah. So we are keen.
Yes, I will make sure I book you in our calendar so we have a slot booked, and then we can continue that conversation.
Please do. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much,
Great.
Jay. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.